Ever since Marvel's Endgame was released back in 2019, the MCU has constantly had to deal with the ever-growing feeling that superhero fatigue is truly setting in, and that Marvel films are no longer automatic box office hits. With the rise of Disney Plus and its need for its own original content, the likes of Iron Man and Captain America no longer being around, and in my opinion, a very confusing overarching plot with this whole multiverse concept, it's no surprise that Marvel is struggling to deliver. And to the absolute surprise of no one, the upcoming Marvel film, The Marvels, is projected to be an absolute flop. Analysts over at Box Office Pro estimated that the film will pull in between $50 million to $75 million on its opening weekend. At the very best, the film will pull in just shy of $190 million domestically. Considering Captain Marvel generated $103 million in its opening weekend and $426 million domestically, there are already a lot of alarm bells ringing that this movie is going to seriously flop throughout its cinematic run. Just to give you a real idea of how shocking these projections are, The Flash, which has more or less taken the title as the biggest box office bomb for superhero films, was projected to take in $60 million and ended up pulling in $55 million on its opening weekend. The film eventually limped to around $270 million in the worldwide box office. In fact, if The Marvels opens up close to the low end of these projections, it could officially become the lowest earning MCU film on its opening weekend since The Incredible Hulk, which was released back in 2008 with an opening of $55 million in the US. Let's be honest, the prospect of The Marvels flopping is coming to the surprise of absolutely no one. It's genuinely laughable about how many things are working against this film. Firstly, the only reason why the first Captain Marvel film did the numbers it did was because it was riding the high of coming out post-Infinity War and came out literally 2 months before the release of Endgame. Its success certainly wasn't down to the character of Captain Marvel, portrayed by Brie Larson, who gave her character as much charisma and personality as this loaf of bread. But then not only does this film focus on such a boring character, but it introduces 2 more onto the big screen in the form of Monica from WandaVision and Kamala Khan from Ms. Marvel. So yes, not only have these characters already been introduced through TV shows on Disney Plus, but there are also 2 characters that you wouldn't really give a f about if Thanos killed them by throwing down a planet on them both. Honestly, just look at these 3 right now and comment below a more boring and uninspired trio of characters within the MCU that's meant to be the leading cast for a film. The name of this film is also stupid. Why not just call it Captain Marvel 2? Calling this film The Marvels is as direct to Disney Plus special as you're going to get, which again is another issue for this film. Basically, all the plot lines and backgrounds came from Disney Plus content, so why not just wait for some random Saturday afternoon to watch the film there, then spend X amount of money watching it at the cinema. Also, with the ongoing strikes over in Hollywood over labor disputes, Brie Larson and her fellow castmates are barred from doing any sort of public promotions for the film. So not only have you got a film that, to be honest, nobody gives a f about, you can't even rely on the cast with promoting it to try and change public opinion. And so when you look at this film, the concept of it all, the characters, all these factors seemingly against it, you would think that Disney would try and temper expectations and spend a reasonable amount of money for its production, just to give it a chance at being profitable. Turns out, Disney has spent upwards of $270 million towards The Marvels production. This actually makes The Marvels the most expensive MCU film to date that isn't an Avenger film. Whoever signed that budget for this film genuinely deserves to strip me of my name and take Senseless as their own title, because I genuinely cannot see any sense in spending $270 million for The Marvels. I'm very much in the mindset that I hope this film absolutely bombs at the box office. This isn't me being a hater and actively wanting to see the MCU crash and burn, but I think Marvel is very much in need of a reality check that this isn't 2015 anymore. Slapping Marvel on a film poster doesn't get you $1 billion automatically. The Marvels is an MCU film that doesn't need to exist. All it does is feed the fire to the critics who say that there's not only a superhero fatigue, but a Marvel one too. Who knows how this film will perform, but if we're going off these latest rounds of projections, well, it'll be interesting to see if this film takes the Flash's crown as the biggest superhero box office bomb. Let me know down in the comments below what you make on all of this. Can The Marvels perform well, or do you think that it's another nail in the MCU's coffin? Don't forget to subscribe. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.